Let's move this to committee. Thank you.
And comments? The honourable member for Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think the most important question at this moment is what exactly is the role of Parliament and what is the role of debate in this House of Commons. It sounds like the government House Leader is trying to convince us that it is because we've known about it, because it's been out there, because it's been on the table, that we in the House of Commons have absolutely no role, so we don't need to have a debate in the House of Commons.
Just trust them.
And I think that that is egregious. If we don't have a debate in this House on something that is the most significant trade deal, 80% of Canada's GDP is trade, 70% of that trade is with the United States, and this is the most significant trading agreement that we have with the United States. It is not a free trade agreement, it is a managed trade, and it is now compromising our sovereignty, and this bill is going to give unlimited access to the Prime Minister to do whatever he wants and further undermine the role and responsibility of this House of Commons. We may not be we're in a majority situation, so we don't always have the opportunity to vote the government down, but we do have the opportunity to debate in this House, and the more they constrain us, the more they undermine Parliament and everything about this deal. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Madam Speaker, I have good news for the member. What we are doing today is actually saying that we should not only have debate on this legislation, but we should also call debate we should also call the legislation to a vote. And by actually having a vote on this legislation, it goes to committee. That's how the process works, Madam Speaker. And when it comes to members of Parliament, they sit on the committees. The committee that we are sending this legislation to will be able to continue setting this legislation. But, Madam Speaker, that member on numerous occasions has spoken about her oath to office and how her oath was to serve her constituents. The very stats that she has just provided are more of a reason why this legislation should be sent to committee to study. It should be sent back, and we should be able to advance a trade deal for Canadians. Canada is a trading nation, so let's, rather than talk about it like the Conservatives are now wanting to do, let's actually act on it. Let's deliver for Canadians to satisfy that very oath that she took to her constituents. Queen and country, I believe, are the words she repeats. And I will just remind everyone, her question was quite long, so I will remind that the Conservatives chose not to discuss the legislation during the debate on Tuesday, June 11th. The member for Niagara West spoke about the carbon price, and he spoke about Bill C-48 and others, refused to talk about CUSMA. The member for Calgary Forest Lawn spoke about China and foreign policy rather than talk about this CUSMA legislation. They have had ample opportunities. What they have done is try to stop us from advancing this legislation, and that does not speak to a party that supposedly supports Canada being a trading nation. Thank you, Madam.
There are still a lot of people